Unchained is still king, and this is how we're playing it. RM Games guys, rogue player from the OCG, now transitioning slowly here in the TCG. But don't get me wrong, I do love Maxi. And for today's hot take, we can still play Unchained like it's 2020. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. You probably noticed this is a very late upload because we usually upload our videos every Sunday. And the reason is we just got home. We just literally got home. I just had this eureka moment in our bus ride home, and I just want to share it to you right off the top of my head before it gets drowned by all the other thoughts. So we're just gonna go through this video really quick. And so, backstory. Not so long ago when Red Eye's Dark Dragoon was printed back in the OCG, and the meta that time was the Spiral Tier 0 with Dragoon, with that Tri-Gate lock, and with that kind of meta, I was actually playing Unchained blind second. And those times, my best friend was this turtle. And now 2025, we have better board breakers than just kaijus and dark rolls. Now we have these luxuries. And therefore, this is our theory. Sit down with your opponent, roll the dice. It doesn't matter if you win or lose the die roll, because we always want to go second. Hope and pray that you have more charmies in your hand, in your opening hand, or Maxi, because I love Maxi. Your opponent ends their turn, draw for turn, break the board, OTK. Simple as that. Now this is a pretty bold take, but it's proven to hit. And having those said, here are the board breakers that we're going to consider in our main decks. Again, let's just go through this quickly. Tired, I want to go to bed, but I love you guys, so I just want to share this to you. First, and arguably the best in this format, Cash Tariff Fenrir. Cash Tariff Fenrir is still legal at 3 here in the TCG for some crazy reason nobody knows. Going blind second, special summoning Cash Tariff Fenrir will force your opponent to respect this card, because everybody knows what this card can do. One Fenrir can really mess up a full board. And if you're one of those new players who doesn't know what Fenrir can do, it can add another Kashira, or in our case, since we're playing Unchained, it can add another copy of Fenrir. It has a 2400 body. It can banish a card, face-up card, when it battles. And most importantly, you can inherent special summon Kashira Fenrir, which is so good in this format. And having that said, we all know what Fenrir can do in this format. So you want to run maybe 2 or 3 copies of Kashira Fenrir in our Unchained going second deck. Another card that we are going to consider in this build is an old friend, Dino Wrestler Pankratops. Imagine summoning Pankratops next to Fenrir. It will surely shake up some full boards. Pankratops, same as Fenrir, can special summon itself if your opponent has the larger board on the field, which is most case when you're going second. And on top of that, Pankratops has a beefy attack of 2600 and has a quick effect which you can utilize during the battle phase to have more value in this card. And again, with Kashira Fenrir on the board, the W should be leaning towards you. So let's say 2 or 3 copies as well. But don't worry, we're gonna tinker our ratios to build the perfect going second Unchained this format. And with those 2 bad boys, we're adding to the mix the Turtle, Kaiju, Gamma Shield. We can actually use Radiant, the Fiend Kaiju, because we can always recur that card using Yama's effect. But we're taking the Turtle because it has the lowest attack in all the Kaijus, and we want to run over the Turtle. Sorry, Turtle. We can finish our opponent right off the bat. Liger Dancer who? Kaiju. K9 who? Kaiju. Yummy who? Kaiju. And I've been doing this since the Dragoon format. Dragoon who? Kaiju. Tri-Gate who? Kaiju. And in this Justice Hunters format, we can always use Kaijus to shut down boards. Now before we continue, YouTube told me that more than 50% of you guys watching this video hasn't subscribed yet. So if you're one of those guys, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. It would really help the channel grow. And a growing channel means RM Games can invest on the videos and in the channel as a whole, so I could give you more value on the contents that I create. Thank you, gang. Kaiju. And now let's talk about the spells and traps that we're gonna consider in our main deck for this Unchained going second build. super polymerization. In this format, we want to utilize all the tech cards that won't allow our opponent to respond, and there's no other card that can do it better but the super polymerization. Super poly with Unchained, you ask? Yes, it's unconventional, but hear me out. Imagine special summoning Fenrir, special summoning Pankratops, slap a super poly in that full board, normal summon Rakea, set an Unchained spell trap, and her battle phase. You probably know where this is headed. Yep, it's not usual for Unchained to run super poly, but in this build, we're gonna tailor this whole ratio, this whole deck, so we could utilize that strong card. Another card is the Book of Eclipse. Yes, Book of Eclipse can easily be stopped with Ash, but we are taking our chances here. That's a good card to trade with, and any card that shuts down a full board, we're taking it. Okay, now these are the cards that I feel like I needed to mention because these are not the usual household cards, or these are just the usual side deck options that everyone's running. But the rest of the cards that we are running in this build should already be familiar and are self-explanatory, but these are the cards that we're adding to this mix. Ash Blossom, Droll and Lockbird, Mulcharmies, Ghost Bell, Ghost Ogre, DD Crow, Nibiru, Contact C, Impermanence, Impulse, Evenly Matched, Dark Ruler No More, and the Forbidden Droplet. Now these cards are what we are considering, but that doesn't mean that we're gonna shove all these cards in our main deck. We of course need to tinker with our ratio, which goes in the main, which goes in the side, and keeping in mind that we are going second with that OTK play. Now going second with Unchained, we always wanna interact with our opponent by clearing their board and finishing them in our turn. But as much as possible, we also need to interact with them, interrupt all their plays in their first turn, try to force them to end with a mediocre board at least, and there's no other way in doing that but with hand traps. Alright guys, now you might be wondering, yo RM, why are you throwing out cards to our faces? Where's the deck? Where's the build that you're talking about? Well, this is where we at now. With some tinkering on the ratios, this is our Unchained blind second. Now I won't be playing some test games in this video, but this is by far our deck, our build for this theory. Now if you want to see me test this deck in some simulators, you know what to do. Just drop down in the comments below, and I'll make sure to showcase you how this deck pops off and take this deck into action. Alright guys, that is it for me today. I really appreciate you guys for listening to my rogue hot takes. If you want to see more of this bold takes, you know the drill. And that is it. Thank you so much again. I'll see you in the next one, guys. RM Games, peace and love. Red Ice Dark Dragoon. Wait, I can't even remember the name. Red Ice Dragoon. Let me look it up. Because we always want to go first. At 3 here in the OCG. TCG. Inherent. Oh, Red Ice Dark Dragoon. Adding to the mix, the Turtle, Gamma Shield. And in this Juster Ayate. Gamma Shield. I really want to use this outro or this closing phrase like turtle out or turtle out, you know, in reference of the turtle. But this phrase is actually taken by one of my most favorite YouTubers, Taylor Bell.
Turtle out.
So I guess we're stuck with peace and love. Everyone loves peace. I really appreciate you guys. Hurdle.